Hey everybody, this is Justin here, aka Demonic Sweaters. Today I've got a recording video for you guys. What I'm going to be using are these WEYMIC WM57s. These are SM57 clones. You can get on Amazon. These things are only like 15 bucks. It's crazy, or like $16 a piece. So I went ahead and bought, well actually I had some leftover Amazon store credit, so I had enough to buy a whole set to mic up all the drums. There's one in the kick, then one on the snare, and one on all the toms. And for the overheads, I only had this one condenser here, and then so I'm just using a dynamic mic over here that's like a 80 mic. So I don't know how those overheads are going to sound. Well, actually, they don't sound horrible. I know this one is like pretty good, but I've never used that as an overhead before. So we'll see. I mean, I could have done a mono overhead, but I don't know. If it sounds absolutely terrible, I'll redo it with a mono overhead. So I've got it mic'd up here, and I'm going to record a song and see how these mics do. Now, if you're wondering about the clips, you can buy a 4-pack of these drum mic clips on Amazon as well for $16. So for like $16 for the clips and then $16 each for the mics, I mean, that's like insanely budget drum mic. And this is just some gaff tape I have on here to keep them from sliding. I always do this when I mic up drums. If you don't have gaff tape, you definitely need to buy some. It has endless uses. It's better than duct tape because it doesn't leave residue. Anyway, let's go ahead and see how this sounds. Well, I think that went rather well. Even listening through my in-ears, I think it sounded really nice, and I'm sure I can get that overhead to sound decent. This really isn't my preferred overhead setup, having them this far apart, but I wasn't sure if I was going to have some, bad phasing issues. Usually I do like the XY, pickup pattern for overhead mics, but I can't do that with these, I don't think. Actually, could I? I probably could. I don't know why I thought I couldn't. Well, actually, yeah, I couldn't because I don't have a real stand here. This one's really not high enough to go to the middle of the drums. But I think it sounded fine. And, I'll know once I do the full mix. But overall, these microphones are totally, totally worth the money. It's getting to the point where the beginner stuff sounds so good that it's almost indistinguishable between the pro stuff. And it's not just me saying that. There's a lot of YouTube videos up there proving this statement, or out there, rather. I'm using a Tascam US 1608, and I really like these interfaces. I have 2 of them. That's how much I like them, because they have a lot of channels, and they're not that expensive, and they just work good. So I'm running that into Ableton Live from what you just heard. For what you just heard. I can't talk. For a YouTuber, you'd think I could talk, but I really can't. But anyway, here's my bass drum pedal. This ancient Mapex double kick pedal. I really like that pedal too. I'm just glowing with positivity all the time, but I do. It's a really great pedal. It feels really good, and I've never seen another one like it. If anybody knows the model of this pedal, name and model, I would like to know, because I'd kind of like to buy another one just in case this one ever breaks. And the beaters are pretty cool too. Look at that. They have a wooden beater and a felt beater and a plastic beater all on the same beater, which is a really neat design. I like the wood beater. I love how the wood sounds. You get a nice attack on the kick drum and a lot of low end still. Well, I think that's just the way that this kick drum sounds, but having those wood beaters on there really gives it a nice attack. All right, I just wanted to chime in here real quick and tell you guys about the mix, or a little bit about the mix. I really didn't have to do that much. Honestly, the toms, believe it or not, had 0 EQ on any tom. I just thought they sounded perfect already, and that rarely happens where I didn't have to put any EQ whatsoever. I don't know, maybe you guys think they could have used some, but when I was listening back to it, I'm like, I can't hear anything that I would add or take away on those. Like, they just sounded perfect to me. So there's no EQ on the toms. The snare drum had a tiny, tiny bit of compression and a little bit of EQ. And the overheads, I usually, and I did this time too, but what I usually do is I create a bus compressor. And so I ran the overheads, not with compression directly on them, but to a bus with a compressor on it. And then that, and just panning the toms, so they kind of go around you when I play the fill. And that's pretty much all I did. Oh, the overhead, yeah, I forgot that. the dynamic overhead, I did have to EQ it a bit to make it match the condenser sound. But I actually ended up being very happy with the result. Because actually, I forgot. I learned this in the past, but I actually forgot that I really like the way dynamic microphones sound on hi-hats, because it adds like a thickness to them that you don't really get with a condenser mic. So yeah, I might actually keep doing that, like keeping a dynamic microphone on that side where the hi-hat is. I just really liked how that sounded. Go back and listen, and maybe you think differently. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I actually really liked it. I thought the whole recording sounded phenomenal. And in case you're wondering too, this is the Ashthorpe drum set that I'm playing. That's a very cheap drum set that you can get on Amazon as well. And I did a review on this kit, and I'm still blown away by this drum set, actually. Every time I go there and play it, I like it more. It's like getting broken in now, and I just think it sounds really, really nice, and it's a lot of fun to play. I do want to get a better snare stand for it, but well, check out the video on that, and I'll go over all the details on it. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I don't think I need to cut back to the other scene, because I pretty much said everything there that I'm saying here. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. There's links down below if you want to pick up some of these mics for yourself, and I'll see you all in the next video.